All right, so guys, I'm back. Um, and I want to spend this time just kind of going through um the basics of the Bomblab assignment in terms of how to access it. I would highly advise you going through and reading all the instructions on the assignment before you proceed with it. So let's go ahead and go to Canvas. Actually, I'm going to log into the Apache server just so we can be kind of already there when we initially log in. I'm going to choose iLab 3 to go ahead and log into this server. And this will take us kind of on the first portion of our code here. All right, from here, let's go ahead and open up I prefer opening a web browser using Firefox when you're on the iLabs machines because I've seen let me get rid of that. I've seen that if you try to do it in when you try to do it with Google Chrome, it presents some issues. So just do it with iLabs. I'm gonna go to the Canvas page here and log in using my net ID and password. Of course, it did not save it, so I gotta go ahead and log in again. Allow that to actually log me in here. All right, and let me change my get into this page. I'm gonna go ahead and view this as a student, so it looks exactly kind of how you guys would see that. All right, you already know how to access this guy. If you go under assignments, I'm gonna go right to where we have hmm, okay, upcoming assignments. I'm gonna go ahead and do the coding portion of this bomb lab. And here's your write-up. Please pay attention to and follow the write-up. It will be really, really vital in terms of it. All right, I'm going to skip the introduction. Um, Dr. Evil apparently has made these bombs, and now it's your task to go ahead and complete them. The first thing you want to do is log into an iLabs machine. We've already done that. This is where we are right now in this Guacamole kind of server, so we're already there. And then you want to open a browser. Do follow the instructions here. Don't try to do it in VS Code. Don't try to do it on your computer. Just follow the instructions and do it inside of this server here. Because if you try to operate and execute this bomb anywhere else, it's going to explode and you're going to lose points. So just keep that in mind. All right. So we are now here. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. It should open another tab. Oh, it did. Okay, it did open another tab. Let me close that out. Once it does that, you're going to put in your username and password. Your username and net ID. Ooh. And I'm going to put in my username, put in your email address. Now, I've done this already kind of as a practice run. So you'll see this already come up for me, but it will not come up for you if you've never done this before. All right, once you put in the information, go ahead and just do a submit. And what you'll see is it will generate a bomb for you. I'm going to double click on that or just right click on it. And I'm going to take this and extract it to somewhere where I can use it. Now, I want to save this in my home directory, kind of where we've already been working with this stuff. So I'm going to go to teaching, CS211, that assignments, Bomblab, and I'm going to put it right here just because that's where I prefer having it. Another way to do it is you can extract that tar file. Hmm. And let me also create a folder for this. Um, These were from my something else that I was working on before, so that's why you see that there. But now I'm in Bomb 11, right? So this is the file we're working with. And if I wanted to, I can open a terminal here to kind of see what we are working with. And if I do an ls, I'll see kind of what's there, what is happening with my bombs. And when you look at this README file, it'll tell you that it'll give you the number of the bomb that you're working on. Now that's used as a tracking tool and reference to your score. So every time you work on this, whenever a bomb blows up, it will show kind of the number for your bomb so that you'll know which of those bombs is yours and what your current score is on like the leaderboard. It also includes your email address and your net ID so that you can have a reference to uh, kind of where this is associated with. All right, so I have my bomb. I know what I'm working with. That's there. Great. Fantastic. What is the next part of the assignment? Okay, this will display your bomb request form for you to fill in. We already did that. We entered our net ID and the email address. Um, K, so my bomb is 11. So that's the one it's working with. You can save it into a protected directory where we can do all the work and give it the following command. Um, so I could do all that. I can go back and do that. That's fine. I already extracted that, so I'm not going to do that. So let me go ahead and do this. Let me do it this way and be a good example of a teacher that actually follows the instructions rather than just doing it my way. So let's see if I can minimize this. Let's go back a few. I'm going to close this eye out. Let's go back to where we can have this. I'm going to do this just so that I have this right. And let's open up actually we'll take that. Now you can see I had other versions of this, so it's a little bit messy here, but let's try to find the one that we just downloaded. This is the one we just downloaded. I'm going to go into my home directory here, maybe. There we go, my home directory. Teaching CS211, assignments, Bomblab. Let's paste it here. All right, and let me make this, I'm gonna call this old, because these are all my old files that I don't need. I don't need that. I don't need this. Don't need this. And let's just work with what we have here, putting this in the Bomblab. Okay, I'm gonna open up a window here, a terminal here. And our instructions, I know I got a lot going on right now, but I need to be able to go back and forth between these two, so I'm just going to open up another window here and look at the actual write-up. All right, so our instructions, we did that. Now we're down here. We're going to do this command in order to open that up. So that's going to be tar-xvf. And then we're going to do the bomb. Now, K refers to the number that we're using, so we're actually using bomb 11. So we did that, we unzipped it. Now let's look at what we have here. And if you see, it basically has, it did the same thing that I did when I extracted it. I just wanted to show you if you went through the instructions, that's kind of what it would go through. Now we can go ahead and cd into that bomb directory. And you'll see the 3 files here. Once I open it up in Nano, you'll see that it has all of that information that kind of tells you your bomb you're working with, your name as well. I'm sorry, your net ID as well as your email address. All right. Let's take a look at the Bomblab code itself. Okay. All right. So here is the Bomblab code itself and kind of how it looks. What you'll see is it's a very simple main function that's going to do something, and it's going to call these phases here. A good thing to look at when you're considering what you want to see as you go through and troubleshoot the particular items. Now, what you're going to do is you're kind of going to go through this phase by phase. So let's go back and look at the instructions. All right, we have our README files, the bomb, and then your bomb.c. We already see that. Now, as it says here, you might download multiple bombs, but you're only going to be working with one, right? It's going to reflect all the downloaded bombs, meaning if you have tried something and it exploded, you will get those points deducted for the ones that you have exploded already. Okay. Now, here is where we go through and we try to defuse the bomb. Please pay attention, very close attention to how do you do this and how you want to work this out. One, you have to do this assignment on one of the class machines. If you run this on another machine, on your own computer, NVS Code, Visual Studio, it will blow up, which means you will lose points. So you must work this or execute this on one of these CS machines. So you are going to be using one of the computers here, the command center, the cave, the meltdown, or the iLab clusters, but you cannot use any of the iLabs 1, 2, 3, or 4 computers. Again, any of the things here, command center, cave, meltdown, whatever the case may be, but do not use iLabs 1, 2, 3, or 4. So we could actually go to one of those machines if we wanted to and just kind of begin to log in. Now, keep in mind, I've already included here, I'm actually going to get out of this guy and I'm going to close this out. We've already downloaded our bomb. We know where it is. So anytime you log into one of these machines, let's kind of first get a list of these machines here. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This includes all of the things that you're working with. So let's look at our assignments. Here's where you can work with command center, cave, or meltdown. So I would say let's just pick a machine. The command center has all of these. Let me see if I want to do this cpcs.rutgers.edu. I can use that if I want to. Actually, let's use the less cd.rutgers.edu computer. So if I were to copy that, you can log into any of these machines from the Apache. Apache guacamole. That is not the right way to say it. The Apache guacamole server. All right. So let's look for that machine that we just saw, that less. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? This guy. And boom, I'm going to log into that. Now I'm on that server as soon as it logs in. and I can use that to start diffusing my bomb. All right, and you'll see it's a little bit of a different server here, but that's fine, doesn't bother me too much. That's perfectly fine. All I need access to here is the terminal. We'll give it a couple seconds while it loads. All right, I'm having second thoughts about whether I want to use this server or not. It's a little bit slower than I wanted. The CPU is intensity longer than shows. Let's try a different one. Let's go with what I originally had. Let's do this cd.cs.rutgers.edu because that one seems to be a little bit slow. So the cd.cs.rutgers.edu, let's log into that guy and see how we do. Hmm. This is also taking a little bit of a long time. All right, I'm keeping in mind the ones that are available for my use. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and open up a terminal here. All right, again, we're just giving this a couple minutes to gather information while that is opening up. Wow, this is nice. So these are our command center. You know what? Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, that seemed to be working. So this is our home directory. Remember, we saved all of this in here, teaching CS211. Then we have that assignments. I'm gonna do Bomblab. We're in Bomblab 11. And if I go to open a terminal from this window, you see it open up that terminal for us. And we have the files that we talked about before. Now, uh, we have this files. I proved it. Now, keep in mind, this is where I am now. I am now on to this CD server, so I'm not on iLabs. I should be good to at least start debugging my program. Now, we went through a bunch of other tools on how you can do this. You can refer to lectures 2D and 2C if you want to see some of those tools that you can use in order to debug your program and to kind of take a look at what it's doing. Um, the best way to do it is to use a good debugger, which we're going to use GDB for this. But you want to keep in mind that every time you explode something, you're going to run into we would lose points. So let's do our initial kind of look through and search through this using I'm gonna do something really quickly, actually. Let's go ahead and do a very quick walkthrough of the let's do a very quick walkthrough of the bomb lab itself. So let's go through you'll see kind of where we have the Bomblab and the C code file inside of this. All right, very simple program. It's looking for an input. It's looking for some input data. It's going to execute the phase, and then if it's diffused, then you're going to go ahead and say, hey, this has been diffused successfully. And it's pretty much going to go through and do that for every single phase in your program. So the first thing we can do and we can look at here, right, is that I'm going to get out of this, which is a Control X command. Yes, let's go through our bomb C. Um, is going to, if we wanted to debug this, we're going to look at this with a GNU radio debugger, GDB dash 0. Remember, we put that in there to avoid some of the areas that we're seeing previously. Let's get out of there. Let's go and we're going to go through the bug, do the Bomblab, and let's do our layout tools here. All right, here is our assembly code. I'm gonna do layout next. That's a very quick and dirty way where I can see both the code portion of it as well as the as I search through the code, it will go through the line items for the assembly. All right, so the top portion has my bomb C, and the bottom portion has the actual assembly language. Right? If I were to go to this one, which is phase 1, I can kind of see phase 1 is expecting me for an input. Now that goes down a little bit from the main function. This is all my main function. Here's my phase right here. And then that's where we can kind of go through and start debugging this. I'm going to get out of this layout next. Okay. And I want to look just at the assembly code. Oh, I'm sorry. Just as a note, if you have previously typed in a command in GNU Radio Debugger, every time you press enter, it will execute that command. It will continue to execute the previous command if you don't type anything in. So all I was doing was I was just going through all of the windows, the layout windows for us to look through and get to this portion when we just see the assembly code. All right, so now I have this window here. Here's my main function. It goes through all of that. It's calling that. I'm gonna jump down a little bit. It's doing some sort of char comparison here, but what I want to figure out and determine is what's happening inside of my phase 1. So this is where I recommend kind of putting a breakpoint, right, at phase 1 so that you can see what happens as you parse through and kind of go through some of that code. All right, I am not going to go through that today. I just wanted to show you guys how to access this. Uh, and we went through, those steps to access this particular item here from the class, the write-up for the description. I do want to say that if you want to look at your score, here we go. So here's your scoreboard for it. We should theoretically be able to go through that. And see where the score is. Now, it may want me to be on an iLabs server. Actually, yes. I have to do this from an iLabs machine, which is where I probably should have started. So since I need to do this from an iLabs machine, let's go ahead and enter that here. Okay. So this is telling me that I already have a window open. Let's see if I can access that window. No, not easily. I'm gonna give it a couple seconds while it opens up a Chrome window. So I will say that I believe that the cheese servers are a little bit faster than the one that I am on now. I think I'm on the CD server. If you go to one of the cheese servers, it might have a little bit of a more rapid speed. So just keep that in mind for your reference. Meantime, let's try Firefox since Chrome did not work out at all. Firefox is already running but not responding. To use Firefox, you must close the existing Firefox process, restart your device, or use a different profile. All right, let's close this out. Let's close out the terminal. Let's try one of these cheese servers. And again, what we're trying to do is I just want to access this Bomblab scoreboard here. So let's see if I can get into Firefox from here. So I'm wondering if I have it open somewhere else. Okay, I'm not sure what was going on, but I went back to iLabs 3 um just to log into the scoreboard because for some reason I couldn't do it from the other one. So let me see now if I can access the link from here. Okay, it's gonna log me into that. Again, I'm doing this just to get to the write-up so that I can get to the link so that I can see the scoreboard. Here's the write-up here. All right, the scoreboard information is here at the bottom. So let's see if that is up and running. Okay, it may be down. All right, so it may be down. I'll talk to one of the TAs about that and see why it's down. But once it's up and available, you should be able to see kind of what the score is and to go through all of those. Other than that, that's all that I have for you guys today. You now know at a minimum how to download your Bomb Lab. You know what servers you should be on. Uh, and we have a basics of, if we wanted to, we have a beginning portion of if I want a beginning understanding of how we can then start going through some of those operations to debug it or to code it. If I went back to this cheat server, you'll see that. And in the next lecture, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and work through a bomb lab. It is not going to be the one that I downloaded because I don't want to give away answers for how to do your particular one, but it will be an example that we can kind of go through and determine the best way moving forward. What you'll also notice if I were to go back to the slides is that there is a link here in the slides. This is also going to be available in the class lecture. So at the end of my slides, you saw this link here. This link here has a very good run through of how to walk through a bomb lab as well. So you're free to look at that for a reference. We'll talk a little bit about this in the next class as well. But this gives some instructions and some very good pointers and tips for how you can go through that. Other than that, guys, please enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next lecture. All right, bye.